Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. His Majesty King Abdullah will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday during a working visit to Russia. Talks between the King and Putin will deal with bilateral relations, the latest regional and international developments, mainly the peace process and the Syrian crisis, in addition to efforts to combat terrorism. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates Ayman Safadi called on the international community to continue its responsibility towards refugees and assist Jordan to shoulder the burden of the refugee crisis. Safadi made his remarks as he met with United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, Filippo Grandi. Safadi said the kingdom has borne the brunt of the Syrian refugee crisis as it is hosting 1.3 million refugees whose life and education needs must be secured by a sustainable international cooperation. Grandi commended Jordan's humanitarian role in assisting refugees and stressed the UNHCR's keenness to continue cooperation and coordination with the kingdom. Interior Minister Ghalib Zu'bi also met with Grandi and discussed with him ways to help Jordan shoulder the burden of hosting refugees. Zu'bi said Jordan has witnessed the influx of refugees who place security and socio-economic pressures on the kingdom. Grandi said his three-day visit to Jordan aims at highlighting the kingdom's vital role towards the refugees in a bid to channel assistance to the kingdom. He also said that the Syrian crisis was a turning point as more than 1 million refugees placed significant burdens on Jordan's limited resources. Jordan hosted the 9th meeting of the counter-Daesh finance group with the aim of assessing accomplishments made in fighting the terrorist group. The meeting also aims at exchanging expertise among concerned countries to dry up the sources of Daesh funding. Addressing the meeting, Governor of the Central Bank of Jordan and Chairman of the National Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorist Financing, Ziad Fariz, said that depriving the terrorist group of funding sources is of the utmost importance. He stressed Jordan's commitment to joint action to fight the terrorist group, noting that Jordan, which has suffered from terrorism, is shouldering the responsibility of addressing the financing of terrorism to protect its national interests. U.S. Assistant Secretary for Terrorist Financing at the Treasury Department said his government appreciates its strong ties with Jordan and its central bank, as well as cooperation to fight the financing of terrorism.
The cooperation is extensive, it is incredibly close, and it's been very productive in a number of ways. I'm glad to be here in Jordan. This is the 9th meeting of the Global Coalition Against Daesh and its financing. And we are here together with members from more than 50 countries and international organizations, as I said again, for the 9th meeting to collaborate and cooperate in bringing to an end the story of Daesh and its terrorism. I'm joined by the national co-chairs from several other crucial partners, most notably Italy and Saudi Arabia, and we look forward to a productive series of meetings today.
All 71 people on board a Russian plane, including 6 crew members, were killed when the plane crashed shortly after takeoff. The Saratov airline was en route to the city of Orsk when it vanished from radar and plunged into a field. The crash happened as temperatures hovered around -5 degrees Celsius, which is not extreme or challenging weather for this time of year. Investigation into the cause of the crash is underway, with experts looking at all possibilities, including weather conditions, human error, and plane's technical condition. Russian President Vladimir Putin expressed his deep condolences to all those who lost family and loved ones in the catastrophe. The ill-fated plane was built in Russia in 2010. In business news, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, said that though the sharp swing in global finance markets in the past few days are not worrying, reforms are still needed to avert future crises. Christine Lagarde, speaking at a conference on global business and social trends in Dubai, said economies were supported by plenty of financing available. In her first public comments on market movements since the last round of turmoil at the end of last week, Lagarde said she was ringing not the alarm signal, but the strong encouragement and warning signal. She repeated an IMF forecast originally issued last month that the global economy would grow 3.9% this year and at the same pace in 2019, which she said was a good backdrop for needed reforms. Italians in the northern city of Ivrea marked Carnival season with the annual Battle of the Oranges. The event, dating back to medieval times, sees teams dressed up in brightly colored costumes, engaging in a fierce orange throwing fight that leaves the cobbled streets covered in a thick carpet of mashed orange pulp. The orange throwing battle, with participants split into noblemen and commoners, with the fruit representing the oppressor's head, is a spectacular event representing the fight for liberty. Every year, some 500 tons of oranges are shipped from Sicily to the region in order to provide weapons to the fruit-flinging warriors.
Personale dell'organizzazione che, se necessario, pagamento anche solo al termine della manifestazione. È sufficiente mantenere almeno un braccio di...
Over to sports and the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, where Dutch speed skater Sven Kramer raced into the record books by winning his third consecutive Olympic gold medal in the men's 5,000 meters. Kramer, the first man to win 3 golds in the same speed skating event at the Winter Games, set an Olympic record of 6 minutes 9.76 seconds. Canada's Ted Jan Bloemen took the silver, while Norway's Sveer Lund Pedersen claimed the bronze. 31-year-old Kramer is the second male speed skater to win 4 Olympic medals in a single event. Evgenia Medvedev also set a new world record in the women's figure skating short program with a brilliant skate that helped the Olympic athletes from Russia into the second place. Medvedeva, the reigning world champion who is competing in her first Olympics, was awarded 81 points for her performance, sparking cheers from Russian fans in the crowd. And finally, for a quick look at the weather, a tangible drop in temperature is expected, creating relatively cold and partly cloudy conditions with a chance for showers across the kingdom. Winds will be northwesterly moderate to brisk, stirring dust in the desert areas. Amman tomorrow can expect a high of 13 degrees Celsius, dropping down to 7 at night. As for the Gulf of Aqaba, warm conditions prevail with a high of 27 degrees and a low of 15, while winds will be northerly moderate and the seas calm. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news. I'm Nancy Khair. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.